This is a Wind in the Willows themed Sims build that I did a couple of years ago, and I really want to share it with you. I don't know what brought it to mind, but I was having a bad day at work and I suddenly just started to think about this build. I think it's because the Wind in the Willows show that I was watching when I was inspired to make this property has such a cozy vibe. It was like a comfortable thought for me. Right now, we are looking at Toad Hall, where Toad lives, which is at the forefront of the property along the road. At the back of the property, we can see Badger's house. It's the little wood structure between the trees. And on the far left is Rat's house, which is like a little river house along the water. And then way over here on the left side of the property, this hole in the ground is where Mole lives. And there's this whole underground element that I'm excited to show you. So Toad Hall in the front is the big mamma jamma. We got a greenhouse at the back where the kitchen is. There's a driveway along the left-hand side, and then there's this gate in the back that goes to the backyard. The front yard is pretty simple. It's just like grass, and then I did this little like pebble walkway up to the door with some gates and some plants. It's nothing special. And then from this angle, we see like the backyard. There's this little kind of courtyard with the same walkway as the front, and then some steps, a fountain. There's a long yard that goes, off to the driveway. And then, of course, there's a gate. And then along the courtyard, there's a gate that goes out to the path that leads to the woods. So this is the first floor. As you can see in the front, there's like a little entranceway that leads into this grand room. And then right by the entranceway is like a little sitting room. And then we have a dining room. Off to the side is this like 2-story library. And then through the dining room is a little kitchen nook, the kitchen, and then the greenhouse. And then I don't know if you can see it from this angle, but behind the fireplace in the big grand room is like this little tiny room. That is the underground entrance to the house that is kind of talked about in the book and the movie. So this is the entrance to the house, like on the inside. There's 2 staircases on either side, and that's pretty much it. So this is our view if we walk in the house. There's really not much happening. I mean, there's like a coat rack on one side, some boxes on the other, and then through the archway is the big grand room. So this room is pretty like big and open. At the back is the doors to the backyard. And right now you see the ceiling. It's because this room is 2 stories. So once we get up to the second floor, I'll show you like what it looks like with the ceiling. I don't know how to make it appear here. We have the fireplace right ahead of us. There's kind of like some ancestral pictures and art. Over in this corner, we have some more art, some tapestries, some metal armor. I forget what that's called. I don't know. It's just like stuff to make it look like a grand, ancestral home. On this side, there's a sitting room through this archway. So this room is pretty small. I don't imagine that, Toad is in here too often. Are those curtains? Different colors? Oh my gosh. But yeah, there's like, oh, there's a little toad on the fireplace. I didn't even notice that. Yeah, so it's really nothing special in here. It's just a little sitting room. From this room, if we look out the archway, we can see the dining room archway on the other side. The curtains are the same as in the sitting room, just with a different color. And then there's, like a big table. There's a little saucer light at the top. It's just kind of to help all the candlelight. I think I was trying to like stick with candlelight for most of this. And that door leads into the kitchen nook. Okay, we're in the kitchen. That's the doorway that leads to the dining room. And this is the Sim who I just put in the house. She's been here for the tour. She's pretty miserable, but that's not our concern. So we have all this cabinetry. Oops, I probably should get rid of that. I don't know why that's there. On this side of the kitchen, we have like the fridge, the stove, a little classy tea set right here. Over in this corner, we have the little kind of like dining nook. And then on the other side, we have the sink and like the trash can. So just outside the kitchen door, we have the greenhouse, which is what we're looking at now. And if we turn slightly to the left, there is this really cute sitting area with all this plant life around, which is just so cute. Like this is the kind of thing where like, I wish I could be in this build. It's so adorable. And then this is the view from basically like the door. You kind of look out, you can see the backyard, the plants. So we're back in the great room and you can kind of see a little smidgen of the archway that leads into the sitting room. And then we see next to the back door, the library door. The room is really narrow, so I wanted to show you it a little bit before we go in and the perspective is all skewed. But you can basically see there's a sitting area, there's a desk, a fireplace, and then, of course, like a wall of books, and then the other wall has windows. This is a two-story room, so once we get to the second story, I'll show you how it looks from that level. You can't get into it from that level, but I just still wanna show you. So this is the room. I think it looks pretty cute. It looks cozy. I mean, it could use a coffee table now that I'm looking at it, but I think it looks like a quaint little library, like a little place where you could sit and read, but also, it's grand. Oh, I almost forgot to show you the last room on the first floor, which is right through this bookcase door. It's almost easier to look at it from this angle because it's so narrow, but basically the door is at the bottom of the screen. And once you walk in, this is the stairwell that goes down. And there are 2 windows in this room just for consistency on the exterior, but I just slapped some curtains on there to kind of keep that, like, mysterious vibe in this little area. And this stairwell goes really far. It goes all the way to Badger's house, which is pretty cool. So this is the top-down layout of the second floor. There's really not much happening on this floor. There's 2 bedrooms, there's a guest room, and then there's Toad's room and his little dressing area in his room, and then a bathroom. Woohoo! We finally made it upstairs. So I don't know if you can tell, but the staircases come up along the back here. So I don't know what happened. At one point in time, I did have railings on the stairs, but they're gone now. But once you come upstairs, there's this kind of like landing area. I put a chair here, some candles, and then this little table with like a miniature seascape. And then on either side, we have some tapestries to kind of fancy it up. So to the left-hand side where the sitting room would be, we have this, it's like a guest room. So this is the guest room. It's pretty simple, a bed, 2 tables, some lights, cute little dressing area. So if we step back into the hall, we can get a better view of the grand room. And also, I don't know why the ceiling has this siding at the top. I gotta delete all that, but that's for another day. Oh my gosh, are those windows? Those windows aren't even the same size. Just ignore the asymmetry of the windows. We're really discovering the flaws of this house. This is the cool part where you look over the banister and you see like this big great room. I feel like this is a nice normal shot, like we're standing on the second level. It's not too skewed. You kind of feel like, oh, I'm walking in a grand room. We're looking over downstairs. The door at the very end of the hall is the bathroom, and then the door to the side is Toad's room. So here we have the bathroom. We've got the sink, the toilet, a mirror, and then around the corner we have the bathtub with like a little grand table. So here we can kind of see Toad's room. It's a long room. And then at the end of it where the turret is, that's like his little dressing station. The curtains around his bed are window curtains. And I used like cheats or something like that to kind of get them like this. Here is a better look at his dressing area. I mean, I think this is a cute little spot. Got a chair, some candles, a mirror, all these windows so he can look out. And then there's a dresser. And then on the dresser, he has, like, some lotions. There's another mirror so he can, make sure he looks dapper. I mean, I feel like this is very Toad. I just wanted to revisit the library so you could kind of see it's 2 stories of wood-paneled walls and windows and chandeliers, or a chandelier, I should say. Okay, we've made it to the 3rd floor of Toad's house. It's very big and very grand, this house. There's another landing area, and there's this long hall. At the end of that hall is a guest room. Off to the side is like servants' quarters, I guess, and then there's a bathroom with that room. Across from that is like a grand bathroom for the other guest room. Next to the big bathroom is more like a storage room. I think there's a dinosaur head in there. And then at the very end of the hall is a game room. There's like a chess set. I thought it would be fitting for Toad to have like a mad laboratory because he's always like into new technology, like a carriage or a car. So this is the landing area on the 3rd floor. From this angle, we see the archway, and we're going to go down the hall. It's giving like old-timey castle out on the moors. So when we turn left coming from the archway, we have this door at the end of the hall, and that is where Toad's game room is. I think this room turned out really cozy. They've got this, I think that's like a Jenga set. I really don't know what that is. Over here, we have a chess set, and then there's a cute little sitting area. We have another sitting area over here in the turret section. There's some music, and then there's a little bar. I don't really imagine Toad drinks. I mean, he's a toad in a kid's book, but yeah, there's like a little refreshment area, we'll call it. And then there's a dartboard. So it's kind of like fun, all his friends can come up here and they can play games together. So by the main door for this room, there is another one of those secret bookshelf doors. Inside is his like mad laboratory. Really not much of a mad laboratory. It's kind of like just a place for him to play. I think this is a candle dipping set. There's some paint and an easel. On this side of the room, there's a woodworking bench, a bookshelf. And I don't really know what all that other stuff is back there. I think I just found a bunch of random stuff and was like, just pile it in there. Okay, we're going back to this view because I don't know, I just prefer this a lot more than being in the actual room. But here we can see this is just Toad's storage area. I figured he probably has a lot of stuff. So we've got paintings, some crates, like the dinosaur head, a vase. Next to that room is this fancy bathroom. So when you walk into this bathroom, there is a bench like right when you walk in, and then there's a sculpture. And as you move around the bench, there's a bathtub and like a room divider. I don't know why I did the bathroom like this. I think I was just trying to do something fancy. Next to the guest room on this floor is the servants' quarters. So it's just kind of like a little twin bed, like a little dressing cabinet. And then next to that, I have their bathroom so they can, have some privacy. I mean, he doesn't have any servants in the show, but I think I was scraping my brain to think of ideas for this room because I was like, I don't know what else to put in this room or in this house. So that is Toad's house. So now we're finally going to move on to the rest of the property. So we're going to pretend, we're walking the property. We come out of the house and we're going to leave through this gate in the back. So if we take it to the side over here, there's this kind of awkwardly built bridge that I made. I don't really think I had the skill set at the time to make a better bridge, but basically, we go up the steps, we go over the water, and we come down. And then we make our way along this little path that has this cute little fence along it. I think that fence turned out so cute. And as you get deeper into the woods, the path kind of forks here and it goes into the trees and then it goes further along the river. And there's some mailboxes to show, like, critters live out here. So here you can see we've kind of come around. Those are the mailboxes that we just saw. And this is the entrance to Badger's house. But before I show you Badger's house, I want to show you where the weasels live. Yeah, they just live right here. Just around this bush. They live in this tent with this fire and this pot on the fire. I don't know. I imagine that they're scoundrels. They're in the forest. So I figured they'd be camping. I'm honestly hesitant to give you a tour of Badger's house because it's so complex. It looks like it's just this little shack and there's this kind of tree growing through it. I do want to show you it at night really quick so you can see how bright it is out here. So this is his house at night. You can see it's pretty dark. And this is the weasel's house at night. I mean, not much of a house, but So this is the beginning of the top-down view of Badger's house. You can see right here, this is the shed, this is the entrance. And then if we go down one level, we see we're in like the little entryway. There's his sitting room, and then the steps go down. There's the whole next level. And then if you come up the different stairs, you see over to the side his office with a little hall. And then on the other side is basically the hallways with the bedrooms and the bathroom. And then if we go down a level, we see kind of like the gathering pantry area. There's another pantry off to the side, and then we have a bathroom, and then like a little kind of hall that has 2 stairwells in it, and then we see his kitchen. And then far at the top left, those are the stairs that lead over to Toad Hall. So I've done half walls here because the shack is so narrow, but basically once you come through the door, it just goes straight down some steps. There's like floor on either side, but it doesn't serve a purpose. It's just to kind of give it a shack shape on the outside. Here you see the stairs turning and they go down to this brick floor, and to the left you see there's like a little sitting area. I'm pretty proud of this room. I think it turned out like really homey and cute. He's got like his little chair, and then on this side there is a bookshelf. If I put the walls back up, you can get a better sense of what's kind of going on. Basically, once you come down the stairs where their little bench and armoire is, it's kind of like a little area where he can like put on his shoes kind of thing. And then you see it goes further down. There's more steps down. So those steps lead down and then turn. And then we come into this kind of like, I don't really know how to describe it. Almost like a dining sitting area. I think it's a kind of cute, quaint country type of room. He's got a bench. There's a big fireplace and he's got, his stores and everything around. This is the other angle of the room, so there's, like, a big table in the middle. You can see there's lots of storage happening, basically. I'm just noticing the lantern on the barrels, and I think that looks so cute. If we follow those stairs up, it leads to this little hallway. The hall kind of splits, and it goes left, and I believe this is his room over here. Let me do half walls. His room is pretty simple, pretty quaint. He's got, like, a bunch of books in there, and then if we go back down the hall, there's a bathroom, and then there is a bedroom, and this is the room that I think it's Mole and Rat share when they stay at his house. I think that's what this room is. We are back in the kind of pantry dining room, and we go through here, and this is his kitchen. It looks a lot like Toad's kitchen, and I'm just noticing the paint job on the bottom cupboards. It's like, oops, that's my bad. So then there's this little hall, and off to the side of that is a bathroom. So back in this big hall, we can see that there are 2 staircases that lead out of this room. So we're going to take the one on the right-hand side, the one that's jutting into the room. Okay, we're just going to pretend we're going up the stairs. I don't really know how to go up the stairs. Actually, we're not going to take that stairwell because that is the one that leads to Toad's house and it goes really far. So we're going to take the other one first. It leads here. So ignore everything on the left, like where that red rug is, because that's where we came in originally. That's where we came down. This staircase just leads to his office. So it's basically this room and this room. This is his office. You can imagine how quiet and still it is in this room. It's, underground, up these steps, up those steps, down those steps, it's pretty cool. Now we're going to go back up the other stairs that we're jetting. So I've done half walls or no walls, I guess, to better show you what's happening. But you come up these stairs over here, and then you go down these stairs right there. We come down the stairs again here. We go through this archway. We go down this way to the next archway. We go forward for a beat through the archway. And then we go up these steps right here. Basically, we've traveled under the river. And so this is where the steps come up. You'd think we'd be at Toad's house by now, but we're not there. So we keep going. We pass through one more archway and we go up these steps here. We end up in this secret room behind the bookshelf in Toad Hall. And that is how Badger's and Toad's houses are connected. So we've toured Badger's house, and now if we follow the path along the river, we will end up at Rat's house. And it's very simple, especially compared to the other residences that we've explored. So the house doesn't have like a big grand entrance. It's got, a simple door, some simple steps. He has his boat there, a little dock that's falling apart. And then next to his house is kind of like this little garden area that seems like it's kind of become overrun. The fence is falling down. There's a well that's full of grass. It's because, his life is all about spending time with his friends, being on the river. I'm in build mode, so it doesn't look as cute, but you can generally see all the little outdoor lights that he has. So this is the top-down view of Rat's house, and his house is super simple. You can see there's the kitchen. He's got his living room, a bathroom, a bedroom, a tiny little hall, and then he's got his porch. So super simple for him. I think we're going to do this tour as a half walls tour because it just makes it easier, especially because his house is so simple. But once you walk in, you enter into the kitchen. His kitchen is really cute. It's very simple. He's got the same appliances as the other 2 animals. And yeah, he's got this cute little table. Looks like he's been eating some toast. He's also got this kind of open concept where the kitchen is right next to the sitting area. So he has a fireplace and then he has all these little chairs facing each other. So, his friends can all gather and chat. And then at the rear of the house, he just has a simple bathroom and his bedroom. And I think he has the same bed that the servant room has in Toad Hall. But yeah, you can see his house is just very simple. I think it's so cute and so cozy. He's got a very cozy house. And then the door in the living room leads out to his little porch area. This is his little porch and it just looks so cozy. There's all these little lanterns here. He has his picnic baskets and there's just this wooden dining set so he can just sit up there and relax and listen to the water. I mean, I wish I could be there. I feel like I think that about every one of the houses. Each has their own cute little quality to it. But Yeah, and he has some stairs that are just, like, easy access to the water, and this is just, like, a different view of what it looks like with the roof on and everything from this angle. Now, if we go back over by Toad Hall, you can see that the path goes a different way. It goes off to the right-hand side, and if we follow that path, that leads to Mole's house. It doesn't look like how it does in the book, but I was like, "How can I make this work?" This is my building skill level at this point. So this is the top-down view of Mole's house. It's also really simple like Rat's. When you walk in, he has his living room, which is also his dining area. At the back is his kitchen, and then there's a little hall, and he has his bedroom and his bathroom, so it's very simple compared to the other places we've been to. So this is his front door. You can kinda see the steps on the far right-hand side, and then he's got some flowers growing on the left. He's just got a really simple entrance, and we can kind of get a glimpse inside his house, which is so cute. So we walk right into his living room, and this is kind of like the general layout of the living room. We've got like a little sitting area in front of the fireplace, the dining area, and then through that hallway in the back is going to be the kitchen. I think it might be easier to look at Mole's house like this, another kind of half wall tour, but here you can see his living room. It's very, very quaint. He's got, some bookshelves, lanterns, candles, and then next to the sitting area is his dining area, which is also very cute. And then in the back, you can see his kitchen. He's got like this really cute shelf with some like apothecary style drawers. I'm pretty sure he has the same appliances as the other animals do. But looking in the back, you can see his bathroom. He's got his little robe. I feel like that's so Mole. He's so like cozy boy. And I love this little table in his bathroom with the little washboard. So cute. And then he has this little hall back here that has this dresser. And then if we push through, then we see his bedroom at the back. So he's kind of got this room divider for some style, a cute little bed, some candles, and that's it. That's all there is to Mole's house. I think his house out of all of them screams like comforts of home. Well, I mean, they all do. Badgers does, Rats does. The only one that doesn't really is, Toad's house, but it's because it's a grand hall. So I can't believe we finished touring. This is so crazy. If you made it to the end of the video, I am shocked. I cannot believe you're still here. I hope you enjoyed taking a tour of this Wind in the Willows inspired build. I'm sorry that we couldn't kind of move smoothly through the rooms like you do in most Simmers videos. I have like a lot more respect for people who build in The Sims online. I don't have a gaming computer, so I can't even imagine having like all that technology to make it happen because it was lagging over here. But thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Bye.